This is Conversation of the Birds, a story set to music, with new chapters released weekly, written, composed, and read by Jamie Holcomb. So, the flock has come apart. Like our birds, it's going to take some maneuvering to get through this mist. The Fifth Valley Part 3 is coming in smaller sections. Let's hope we can easily navigate things. The hummingbird had flown into a hillside covered with thick-headed trees, and everywhere now, below, above, to the left and to the right, the hummingbird was surrounded by silver monkeys. Before he could speak, the monkeys cheered. "A blessing," cried the nearest ape, a pudgy fellow hanging from the trunk of a tree to our bird's right. "Me?" The hummingbird had been poised to run, but now he spun to hover eye to eye with that hanging ape. The monkey dropped to the ground. Several of his fellows in the neighboring trees followed suit. Like silver fruits, the monkeys fell until the entire clan had congregated on the ground below our nimble fellow. Altogether, the monkeys bowed. "Thank you for blessing our forest," that vocal ape said from beneath his hanging head. "It has been too long since one of your kind has graced these treetops. Please, have your fill of our flowers. We would be honored to serve you every variety of nectar." And the hummingbird, lost and frightened as he was, he could not ignore this act of kindness or his aching hunger. Humbled by the bowing crowd, the hummingbird found the blue-green buds of the bushy myrtles and the orange-red blooms of the creepers, and all over that tight peak, the true warden of the flower bed performed his sacred duty. Meanwhile, the company of the cormorant had caught up to the company of the albatross to settle on the next island peak. It was there that they had been calling roll, that first flock, and they had just noticed the hummingbird's absence when those stocky birds settled around them. "Missing," explained the albatross to the cormorant, and they went into action. 3 birds, the goose, the crow, and pheasant, must go back to search. Those hardy fellows could hold their own against whatever dangers might be lurking in the mist. The shamefaced cormorant had to admit his own weakness. For that bird that bogards the bay, this kind of endless flying came at too high a cost. His short flipper-like wings needed a rest. But the goose was used to aimless quest. She could fly forever. The crow, too, was well equipped for scouting. And the practical pheasant knew how to roost and bolt at a moment's notice. These 3 birds could search the unknown, guided by one bat as a radar beeping bat calls through the mist, and the second bat navigating for the birds in common tongue. The party of scouts went back along their trail, eyes peeled for any spot of sapphire burning in the mist. So then, for bats 3 and 4, their rest period was gone, with 2 bats needed for every round of birds, and with 2 bats now engaged in another quest, it was up to those 2 little brothers to bring in the vulture and the kite and company, while Habernaniel waited with the other leaders. They went back and forth, back and forth. They brought in the vulture and his bumbling crew, and when that black bird heard what had happened to his light opponent, he turned into himself to brood once more in grim repose. The Bat brothers flew, panting, voices hoarse from their coxswain calls. Together they brought in the company of the kite. Finally, Bat 3 said to Bat 4, "Rest, you must finish it." And that 4th brave little brother vanished into the mist. All the while, Habernaniel sat listening, and he heard not a peep. For that 4th little bat had intended to return along that track that he had traversed so many times. But while the bats can navigate all night-like obscurity, well, who hasn't ever become lost even in the bright light of day? All it took was a curling of the mist here, a bending of the branches there, to redirect that handsome bat. The subtle warping of the cloud terrain sent that little bat off course. He flew right into that black jaw, and after the thing had bored into his chest with its gore-stained beak, it plucked out the little bat's heart, smiling as it sucked the warm organ down, still beating in the monster's throat. This is the trouble that the heron can never foresee. In honorable combat, naturally that great swordsman will come out on top. Everyone knows that, including the monster. Guard your flock as well as you can. That starving thing will eat again. And so the leaders waited for a message that would not come. They waited, each bird and bat in their various poses, until the anxiety became unbearable. The birds agreed they had to do something. The mist had only grown thicker in the time the company of the heron had spent in holding. Without a bat to relay the radar path and fluent calls, the birds would be flying blind. Could Habernanuel outshine the mist brightly enough for the 6 birds to follow his brazen glow? Only one way to find out, said the heron. Boldly the 6 shot out into the unknown after that ember in the mist. The company of the heron had finally departed. This has been Conversation of the Birds, story set to music, with new chapters released weekly. Written, composed, and read by Jamie Holcomb. Produced by Supermoon. Join us next week for our next installment. If you'd like to check out more from Supermoon, visit us on TikTok or at our website, gosupermoon.com. That's GOSUPERMOON.com. The quest continues next week.